And for those who couldn't, would always join online
Yeah.
or would get something like not like a feedback,
Yeah.
just a way to connect. So as a country, I think we are trying to connect as much as possible, and I think um, the primary way to start connecting together as a country at large maybe is for the people in different regions first to actually know at their regional levels their communities. That way, it's easy to connect together as a nation because we couldn't, even if we would want to, you couldn't go through the entire country, you see. But just using these hubs,
Yeah.
in a way, we could connect with each other
Yeah.
and possibly reach the entire nation. Yeah.
Yeah, just allow me to give a shout out of people who are joining us online. We have Son of the Nile, that steady warrior, very big and a gentleman who is so passionate about Tanzania. We have Michael. We have Paul Wamaloa. He's from Haiti. We have Stanislay. I don't know. Yeah, Stanislias Sapia. I think is Tanzanian. We have Efirota from Africa's Talking. We have Art Akolo, our humble videographer, photographer. We have Chepkoech, CCS. So those are some of the people who are joining us online. Please feel free to unmute and ask questions and engage. This is more of an engagement kind of conversation, and you're welcome. Thank you so much. Yes, please. So, yeah, you want to say something? Please go ahead. But the point I wanted to make here is that the way I've seen communities grow and become sustainable over time is that you have to understand, like you said, one of the things that you have to understand is that before, as you guys said, like DA is strong, right? It's strong because it's taken time to build, and there are so many advantages here. If someone could learn from anywhere in the world to with that and come and do something, maybe that's not the case in Mwanza. That's not the case in Bear. That's not the case maybe in Arusha or something. So the way I see it really good is not to assume that, now we have GDGs, all of them, but they're not as strong as Mwanza, right? And some of the guys who start them there are from there. So once they leave, we had this conversation earlier, then the community dies or nothing happens. So the way I figure out, this is my own experience. So I might be wrong, it might not work, but I've seen it work. So for me, I'm not a proponent of starting community all over. It's the same country anyway. So, but also I'm not an ignorance of what is happening across the country. So I'm conversant that everyone who graduates across the country, or maybe someone who wants to scale the opportunity, they'll come to the city in one time or the other. So how I do it is just make sure that I have an outreach program and support the leaders who are there in one way or the other with the information and the knowledge. But I make sure that I'm there physically. And I don't assume, actually, this was proven during Corona times. It's really, actually, if not impossible, really hard to build a community virtually, because community actually is based on interaction, on human interaction. If I wasn't here, I'm sure you guys wouldn't have joined this Twitter space. I'm 120% sure, right? But because I'm here and we have had a conversation, even off the camera, you find it's about time we tell our own story. And so I would encourage any leader who is listening, either in Dar es Salaam or even you guys, in one or the other, you can find a way to even go and visit. Like the way now we have come all the way here to just meet you and have some good time with you, and also even listen to you, right? And I don't know, maybe companies like Nala, you never know. Maybe companies like Get Pesa or Get Paid would like to support. Maybe your company would like to support that initiative. You just need to ask, like, can we do this maybe quarterly? And if they don't show up in this quarter, they can show next quarter. And that you actually you'll see the change. You'll see that, like, people actually people will start seeing tech and coding and building solution and innovation in a different way. So they don't have to wait all the way, like maybe you guys waited until you came to DAO, or maybe you joined our community and it happened for you. That said, do you think that it's about time now that we started thinking keenly about agriculture or agri-tech in Tanzania? Because I understand Tanzania feeds Kenya in some way. Sorry to say this, but I hear that they feed us most of the times. let me leave it there because I don't have some
Yeah.
data to support that.
Uh, well, I can't say they are right or they are wrong, okay, because we don't have the proof, right? But for what I can say is that, well, we are in the point that we have a lot of innovations, right, that can support that agri-tech. Okay. So from your question that we have been hearing that there are a lot of not good stuffs that being provided to our fish, right? I can't prove like they are right or they're wrong because we don't have the evidence.
Yeah.
But I can speak about the agri-tech, the innovations of things that have been happening on the agri-tech at all. We've seen various companies starting innovation related to agriculture, and some of them are delivering services to the farmers who were not able to have access to the market or finding the proper clients who can buy the services. So right now we're speaking of companies that are able to either provide loans to the or loan of services like farming devices or technologies that help maybe farming fishes, you know, also like technology of drainage systems, like irrigation systems, which are automated, and that way aiming to prove the quality of the service that they do. That's improving the output of the at the end. And at some point I can say we came a long way from the point that even farmers knows something about technology, so they even have a choice. So like if I want to do 1 2 3 4 5, I can go through technology and do it in 5 6 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so we come in a way where the farmer doesn't have even the estimation per year can harvest how much, but
so they're just farming blindly.
they're just farming for like, okay, I'm a farmer, so what I do, I farm, right?
Okay.
But we come in the way where like with the right tools and right technology, they can even estimate like the costs and everything, making sure at the end they get the proper profit. So speaking of that, I've been a student, I've been a community member of different various communities. I've seen a lot of people showing the innovations which at some point improves the agriculture, the agri-tech.
Yeah.
So I've seen there's these students who created irrigation system like by drones, and some of them they automated kind of the green farm, where like they have the automated system which senses the moisture, water level, maybe even the pH of the soil. So that means even you as a farmer can live maybe for a week without even entering in that farm, and making sure you have the right condition for your product, for the products. And also we've seen a lot of companies also combining or buying the grains or farm products from farmers, and finding the people who can buy those just online. So that way as a farmer you can just be at home with your smartphone or your laptop and just uploading like, okay, I have 500 tons of cashew nuts, and then I'm looking for clients, and then the company gives you the customer, and then you pay. See, you get paid, and also you make profit. So from the point where farmers would just be staying at home waiting for a person walking with bicycle or motorbike, looking for farmers who have products, to the point where by just a click of a hand you have made money and you have nothing rotting inside the house. So in the agri-tech we have moved and we are going in the right direction. And since like before we had innovations, but we didn't have the time to provide education to the consumers. So we just had a lot of ideas and then struggling to build them while not focusing on the end user. So right now, after we have made that, even the users have the knowledge, like people are becoming interested in it. So right now we have the perfect industry, we have the perfect users, and also we are going to the perfect solutions for them.
Yeah. Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So it looks like what you're saying, there is so much opportunity, especially in agri-tech in Africa.
Yeah, I think for example, in Tanzania, I'll speak on the perspective of Tanzania because I grew up in the village, and in the village here in Tanzania is where people do farming, right? We don't farm in the city.
Yeah.
But I think we have not done a lot of strategic improvement or strategic like innovation and stuff yet.
Yeah.
Most of the things that are happening, for example, even in the area of like marketing and stuff, is because of how the internet or the social media is disrupting every other industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How right now someone can do gig work. Right, so people are using it the way they use in any other industry.
Yeah.
But to have like specific strategic or advancement or innovation in the farming or agriculture area, I think we have not yet done something big about it. For example, if you compare it to other sectors like let's say telecom or even education in Tanzania, for example, right now like we have schools in every ward in Tanzania has a secondary school.
Yeah.
We have colleges in every region. There are colleges.
Yeah.
So I think we still need to do more in agriculture. As Raymond Alfeo pointed out, like still people don't know. Like someone, for example, if you wanted right now to invest to small farmers, they don't know how much they get. They don't have that track record for the past, maybe even last year, they or past 5 years. If you're somebody like how much do you produce every year in your farm? Everybody is farming, almost everybody is farming in the village. Yeah, but there is we still need to do to create those tools, and for example, even like even the logistics, there's still other sectors that are also like enabling sectors to agriculture, like for example logistics. Someone might have 100 created like farmed in a commercial way, but they don't have the proper means of transporting the product to the markets. So because of logistics, someone, let's say, has like tons of maize, but they don't know how to transport that. It's hard. It's a hurdle still. It's still a hassle, right? We still need to create more solution in agriculture.
Absolutely. So and the reason why even I've talked about agriculture is because also you're making moves with the fintech, with Nala and the rest leading the way. Another thing that I find, maybe you can correct me as you take you share your input, is health tech. How is health in Tanzania?
Before we talk about health tech, I just want to point out one thing about agriculture. So as Justine and Alfeo have already pointed out, I mean, agriculture is one sector that is almost untouched when it comes to technology. I mean, our farmers and I think also ourselves, we fail to think in a way that we're not just feeding Tanzania, we're not just feeding ourselves. We're feeding the world, and the standards of world market are actually absolutely different. I was listening to the AFCFTA summit last week. It's Africa Free Trade countries. Yes. So farmers really do not know. There are very small things that they could do that could change the directory of agriculture completely. You know, they don't know how to market their products.
Yes.
They don't know how to keep records, right? They do not know how to represent. I mean, a person from US would want for you to import or export. Actually export, maybe mangoes to him. So they would ask for a picture, a very simple picture, and you would find someone taking a picture of a mango from a tree. That's not a way to sell, right? So there's very simple things that they could be done, and we could do to improve all this, because it's a great opportunity, and I think most people don't see it because it's not done yet. Because I think for some things, for some people it has to be done for them to do it. I would take an example of something like very simple, like honey. And you don't need to cultivate it. You just need a beehive. But that's how you produce honey. You just need a beehive. Just put it somewhere, right? But you can sell honey in the US for a very different price with the honey that you sell. It's easy. You know, you just have to know the right ways to process it. You have to know the right way to preserve it. The standards. You know, you have to understand the type of packaging to use. There are very simple things that would change the game. You know, and if we think in a way that we're not just feeding our country, because statistics shows by 2030 the world will have hunger. You know, and there are some countries right now they're having inflation even on food. They're trying to bring these they call forgotten crops like wheat. You know, crops that they do not grow or grown mostly because most countries and you know you should know that the statistics shows that we're not even growing enough maize to feed the world.
Yes.
You see, so it's a lot of things. It's a lot of simple things that we could do to improve the entire ecosystem of agriculture, and we could change the entire trajectory of agriculture and food and the entire system. Because in Africa, there are countries dying of hunger, but in the same Africa, there are countries, regions in Tanzania that have a large number of food waste in a year.
Yes.
There is a year there was a lot of pineapples, tomatoes gone to waste. You would find them rotten in a marketplace. But if we would have that knowledge, what should we do with this? There are so many things we could have done. You see, it's not just pineapples themselves. Maybe sell them to industries, or maybe produce them. Produce them as a different product. It doesn't have to be pineapple. It could be pineapple jam or pineapple marmalade. It could be a lot of things. You know, so it's that. It's simple things that we don't think about all the time. But I think working together, tech and agriculture and maybe business, all coming together and working together and seeing how can we all together work together to improve our country. I think it's a different trajectory for us, and it's a great opportunity.
For sure.
Yeah.
So they say that even the baobab tree just started really like mchicha kwa Kiingereza unaitwa. Say we are like Swahili proverb says that bata mbuyu ulianza kama mchicha. So I can say in Tanzania I've seen some companies which are just trying. You know, Tanzania were exporters of a lot of things. We sell to Asia and US, and like we do everything. At some point we do them technically, and then some of them we are doing them just normal, like culturally. So I can say if it's the iceberg, you know, like there's this small tip that has started being shown at the top, but there's a lot at the bottom that has not been touched yet. But at some point in the technology of agriculture, we're talking about how we handle our kettles, how we handle our production of farming, and how do we handle like everything around us that can be grown. So like we haven't reached there yet to integrate everything, let's say forecasting of weather, so also like involving AI, maybe predicting from past 5 years, this year don't grow this, don't grow that, so that you won't have something to just go to waste. So we haven't reached there. But at some point, I've seen some companies which have taken some initiative to move from one point to another. The farmers that are trying to do something, but you know, they fail on advertisements, and at some point they just focus on the money thing, forgetting about the service that they are giving their customers. But at least the trial is there. And pointing to your question about the health tech. I can say Tanzania at some point, we are in that point, we can say that we are trying. Like right now, we're still in that point where you go to hospital, you can be given a number, like, okay, so this is your number. Next time you come, we just provide this number. We'll have all your health informations. They are computerized at least. But they are not integrated where you move from one hospital to another. You might end up being given the same dosage, the same treatment that you were given before, because they are not that integration. So we can take an example on the previous pandemic, COVID. So for some of us who taken the vaccine have been given the digital number. So that means the way of tracking it, right? And also for some people, like who are using health information, I mean national health insurance. there are some records of your treatments which are there. At some point, they are kind of integrated where you can retrieve some points of information. Talking about health tech, you're talking about people treatments, background history of people's. We're kind of trying to integrate one point to another from subsystems, but the problem is the health is kind of scattered. There is this region, and then in the middle you have a lot of regions which have not been developed, which you don't have people who have the education or knowledge to support that integration that you need to do, right? So from one region, it can be integrated for hospitals which belongs to the same company. But if you move from one place to another, that means there is a different system that is being used. So at the end of the day, we're kind of still trying, but we are going there.
Not yet there.
Yeah.
And I mean, that means there is an opportunity for you as developers to check. Because what I'm hearing is that this information is integrated. The way you access it is not really clear. And if you look around, and this is not only in Tanzania only, I think it's something that cuts across Africa. There's an opportunity to build solutions that actually can simplify some of these, because I remember we have done a couple of hackathons around health tech, fintech, and solutions that come there actually could be implemented in most of these places, and they could work actually seamlessly. Yeah.
So I also would like to comment on that, on the health innovation. I think there's not so much that has been done in the health industry in general compared to finance, for example. But some of there are some improvements, as Raymond pointed out. Like there are some health information management systems being implemented right now. Though they are not that much integrated, but they're there. But I think one of the, one thing, I think a lot of innovation in our country, and maybe in other countries, I don't know, but most of our innovation get lost in universities. There are a lot of researches being done by young people in universities, doing final year projects, for example. If we go there, we'll find a lot of innovations, a lot of things maybe that we have talked about, that already solutions are there, sitting somewhere, documented by some student somewhere, and prototype made already. For example, like the drone that V mentioned somewhere, like the drone irrigation. I don't know if it was V or Raymond, but students have created a lot of those drones. I've seen them, irrigation drones, to colleges. If you go to college labs, but we don't see them doing that innovation in the streets, right? We have seen traffic lights implementations, traffic street cameras, surveillance cameras for the streets in the universities, but we don't see that implementation in the streets. So I think it's a problem of scalability, scaling that. If you talk to the student, he'll tell you, how am I going to get the funds to implement this? But if you showed that paper to someone in Europe, you'll find that innovation being used by Boeing. I was having a conversation with one of my friends who is a software engineer, is a civil engineer. He showed me a prototype that he told me about the prototype they made during their final year, which later on that prototype in Tanzania it ended at college after being given their degrees. It ended there, but later on they approached some of the companies. For example, it was like a software to innovate on the simulator for crashing cars and stuff. But Boeing later on, after doing a lot of other efforts outside, after saying that it's not going anywhere in Tanzania, he tells me it's being used by Boeing in the UK, that innovation. So there are a lot of that kind of stories, that kind of innovation sitting around in the labs, in our schools, in our institutions. So I think it's a matter of we need, as a tech society and the business society, I think if there are people that will bring change or impact in our continent, is the private sector, private citizens building innovations like those in the industries.
I mean, it's quite clear that, and this is how I view it going forward. Like, if you and this has been proven again and again. So you just need a laptop and internet. Don't wait until the government, because government, even the solutions that have ever been built in the world, they come in after to find if they can tax them or create policies around them.
Yeah.
Look at M-Pesa. M-Pesa was there for some time until the government now asked them, how can we, tax these guys? How can we provide regulation, because there are people's money in the process, and they have to protect their citizen. Look at Bitcoin. Look at the cryptocurrency in general. Look at the blockchain itself. As a technology, the government is still like hesitant. What can we do? So always keep in mind, as a developer, as an innovator, that government follows innovation, not the other way around. Yeah. If you work the other way around, you'll be so disappointed.
Yeah. So, and also at some point, like the reason of this edtech, health tech or agri tech solutions, while we are still young, we kind of have a lot of vibrant ideas to provide solutions, different solutions. But in the process of learning, or in the process of adapting with the environment, we find like we don't have kind of a support that we need, or like the people that we have are not that supportive to move us from one place to another. I've seen some students creating solutions for health tech. For example, they just used USSD to provide information for pregnancy, pregnant women. For example, you can report like you are pregnant, and then you are, let's say, 1 month pregnant. So from then the system will just be sending you messages like reminding you, so you have to go to clinic right now. This time you'll be feeling this way and that way and that way. And also you can use that to call for support and everything. So it kind of gives you the education and everything that you need on the process of being pregnant until like you give birth, and then still going to like taking the kid to the hospital until you finish all the vaccines.
Yeah.
See, but if that idea could be implemented, as you see in our country, a lot of solutions that relate to health or education rely on the support of the government.
Yeah.
So we kind of miss that. We don't have the power of saying like, okay, let me involve a certain person. We just kind of rely on a person who you don't have confidence of facing them and showing like, I have this solution and this and that and that.
Yeah.
So we can take all this blame and push it to the communities because, when we see a person having a certain solution, we are the one who are in charge of moving that one person from one point to another.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of communities just doing something for hype, as we said before.
Yeah.
We're just doing it for shouting out like, hey, look at us, we are doing something. And then people look like, okay, we saw. What you gonna do? See, and then after that, we do nothing.
Yeah.
So in the past 5 years, that's why a lot of people now realize that if I depend on communities or startups, I want to go anywhere. So some of people who just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this myself. Who started? They made it.
Yeah.
See, so even these people can get the perfect or proper motivation to move forward.
Yeah.
I believe we can have a lot of implementation and improvements on the health tech.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that input. So we have Eugene Troyer. Eugene, you wanna contribute? He's a software developer. Eugene? Yeah.
Integration, and I wanted to integrating all these services and maybe innovation. I wanted to basically comment on government policy, as much as at the end of the day we might have all these innovations coming through. At the end of the day, at least I'll speak for us in Kenya. Most of these innovations depend mostly on government policy. At the end of the day, we must have support from government. And I don't know whether the policies are very favorable to the common mwananchi, that is a university student. You might have a very good idea, a very good product, project, but at the end of the day, for it to materialize, there are certain government policies, of course, that you must have full government support. In the case of integrations, if the case of Tanzania and hospital management systems, if at all it is to be adapted countrywide, we find that government policy plays a major role in ensuring that all hospitals adhere to that, or all hospitals have to have similar systems. So at the end of the day, government policy, as Africa that is, or East Africa in this case, government policy plays a major role. So to find ways to navigate that, I think we'll be ahead as a region.
That's a great input, Eugene. And actually, it's true because when you look at how data should be managed, especially in hospitals, there are a couple of things that are really sensitive, and it's a concern of every government to make sure that. Because also when you think about medical data, it's a private data, right? And actually, any data is private data. If you think about it, there's no data that's supposed to be leaked or sold for people to benefit. So I think what Eugene is contributing is really pertinent, that government should play a key role and be intentional about how they want maybe this innovation to be done. There are certificates like HIPAA. I think South Africa has implemented a couple of guidelines on how to access